My Weird School Special, Book Number 5, Back to School, Weird Kids Rule. Written by Dan Gutman. Pictures by Jim Pelot. Chapter 4, The Ghost. I don't know how long I was sleeping, but sometime in the middle of the night, I heard something moving in my room, and then I heard an eerie voice. Andrea, Andrea. I was in a deep sleep. I had forgotten that Arlo was sleeping on my floor. I just heard that creepy voice. When I opened my eyes, there was a big, shapeless creature standing next to my bed and scary shadows on the wall behind it. Eek! I screamed. Then I realized it was just Arlo. He had the sleeping bag over his head. Andrea, Andrea. Knock it off, Arlo, I told him. I'm trying to sleep. I'm not Arlo, he replied. I'm the ghost of Arlo. Oh yeah, I said. If you're the ghost of Arlo, that must mean Arlo is dead. That's right, he said. He ran away to Antarctica to live with the penguins, but he fell off an ice floe and froze to death. It was tragic. I decided to play along. What's your name? I asked. Name? He said. My name is the Ghost of Arlo. That's not a name, I told him. You're supposed to have a name. Ghosts have names. How do you know what ghosts are supposed to have? Arlo said. Have you ever met a ghost? This is silly, Arlo. Take the sleeping bag off your head. You almost scared me to death. You should be scared, Arlo said in a scary voice. After you go to sleep, I'm going to paint your pink room black. You are not. Yes, and I'm going to hide under your bed, Arlo said. And when you go to sleep, I'm going to replace your Barbies with G.I. Joe action figures, because that's what Arlo would do if he was still alive, which he isn't. Don't you dare touch my Barbies, I warned him. Then I'm going to take away your encyclopedia, Arlo said, and I'm going to change all your A's to F's on your next report card. Go to sleep, I told him. There's no such thing as ghosts. You're Arlo. I am not. R2D2. At that moment, the door opened. Eek! Arlo and I screamed. It was Arlo's dad and my dad. We heard a noise, Arlo's dad said. Is everything okay? I'm dead, Arlo said. This is my ghost. Go to sleep, they both shouted, and then they slammed the door. The fourth reason why I love school. We get to learn new things. Learning new things is fun, but more importantly, it makes the world a better place. The more you know, the better you are. Last year for Christmas, I got my electronic encyclopedia. It's like a paper encyclopedia, except that you can jump around topic to topic just by clicking on words. I like to look things up in the encyclopedia for fun. You never know what you might find. The other day, I looked up gopher in my encyclopedia. While I was reading about gophers, I clicked on a link to pests. I started reading that, and then I clicked on a link to germs. That looked really interesting too, so I started reading it. There was a link to cheese, so I clicked on it. Did you know that there are 4,000-year-old pictures of cheese in Egyptian tombs? I never would have learned that if I hadn't looked up gopher. Chapter 5. Agree to Disagree. When we woke up the next morning, I could smell the yummy smell of waffles cooking. I love waffles. Arlo and I ran downstairs. We got to pour the batter. When you help make the waffles, it makes them taste even yummier. You kids go play, my mom told us after we finished. AJ's mom and I will have coffee. Grown-ups sure love coffee. They drink it all the time. At school one day, the coffee machine broke down and the teachers were walking around like zombies because they didn't have their morning coffee. I tasted coffee once. It was yucky. But when I'm a grown-up, I'll force myself to drink it because that's the rule. I always follow the rules. What do you want to play? I asked Arlo. I don't know, he said. What do you want to play? Too bad we can't start working on our homework to get a jump on it, I told Arlo. I know, we can finish our summer reading. What? Arlo exclaimed. It's summer. I hate reading. We have to read all year long. I don't even like reading street signs during the summer. They should have summer not reading. Do you want to play dress up? I asked Arlo. I love playing dress up. No. I realized that Arlo was just going to say no to anything I suggested, because that's what boys do. So I came up with a plan to make him say yes. Do you want to play with my Barbies? I asked. No, Arlo replied. Boys don't play with Barbies. That's just what grown-ups tell you, I said to Arlo. Are you going to let a bunch of grown-ups tell you what you can or can't do? That doesn't sound like you, Arlo. A man like you makes up your own mind, right? I was using psychology to get Arlo to play with my Barbies. My mom taught me how to do that. She's really smart because she went to Harvard. Okay, Arlo agreed. Get out your dumb Barbies. Yay! I got my Barbie collection out of my closet. I have Ice Capades Barbie, Angel Princess Barbie, and Halloween Glow Barbie, with a glow-in-the-dark hair extension. Can we cut their heads off? Arlo asked. Of course not, I said. Can we go outside and melt their faces with a magnifying glass? Arlo asked. Absolutely not. Can we throw them out the window and see what happens when they hit the ground? Arlo asked. No. Then I don't want to play with your Barbies. That's not fair, I told Arlo. You said you'd play with them. Cutting their heads off, melting their faces, and throwing them out the window is playing with them, Arlo said. It is not. It is too. I'll tell you what, I told Arlo. Let's agree to disagree. No, Arlo replied. You won't even agree to disagree? I asked. The only thing I agree with is that you're wrong, he replied. This was not going well. I would have to use more psychology. Arlo, if you won't agree to disagree with me, that must mean you agree with me. Arlo thought about that for a moment. I disagree with that, he said. Now you're just being obnoxious, Arlo. I am not. Stop fighting, my mother called from downstairs. Get ready, you two, because we have to go. Go where? Arlo and I asked. We need to go shopping for back-to-school clothes, shouted Arlo's mom. Yay, I said. I love shopping for back-to-school clothes. Boo, Arlo said. I hate shopping for back-to-school clothes. The fifth reason why I love school. It gives me a good education. Getting a good education will help me become the high school valedictorian. Do you know what a valedictorian is? She is the student who gets the best grades in the whole school. I want to be high school valedictorian because it will help me get into Harvard. My mom went there, and look at her. Going to Harvard will help me get a good job someday. I have it all planned out. When you plan everything out, there are no unpleasant surprises. Chapter 6. First impressions count. Shopping is fun, and I don't think there's anything in the world that I love more than shopping for clothes. Think of it, if we didn't shop for clothes, we would be walking around naked all the time. Ew, gross. We piled into my mom's minivan and drove to the mall, where they have this store called Macy's. It's a department store. That's a store that has lots of different departments, so it has the perfect name. When we walked inside, Arlo looked like we were taking him to his own funeral. Don't you want to look handsome for the first day of school? I asked him. No. Arlo and his mom went off to the boys' department, and my mom and I went to the girls' department. There were so many important decisions to be made. Should I get a long, flowy skirt, or should I get a skirt? That's a skirt with shorts underneath. Should I get pleather pants? That's fake leather. Or should I get jeggings? Those are leggings that look like jeans. The outfit that I wear on the first day of school is crucial, because first impressions count. I picked out a bunch of things and went into the fitting room. I tried on a short skirt, a long skirt, and a high-low skirt. Then I came out and looked in the mirror with my mom to decide which things looked the best on me. A few minutes after we started shopping, I saw Arlo and his mom coming over to the girls' department. They were carrying a bunch of bags. "You're done already?" my mom asked. "He's a boy," said Arlo's mom. "We finished half an hour ago." "Can we leave now?" Arlo asked. "Leave?" we all said. "We're just getting started." Someday, when Arlo and I are married, I'll get him to dress up in nice clothes. He will look so handsome. But for now, I couldn't worry about Arlo. I had important shopping decisions to make. I tried on a fringed crop top with rhinestones on it. I came out of the fitting room and spun around so Arlo could get the full effect. "What do you think of this?" I asked. "I hate it." "Oh, you're just saying that to tease me," I told him. "You really love it, right?" "No, I really hate it." "I think you really mean the opposite," I told him. "You're right, I really love it," Arlo said. "You mean you hate it?" I asked. I wasn't sure if Arlo was using psychology on me or not. Shopping for clothes takes a long time. Poor Arlo was really bored. But what was I supposed to do? You don't want to make a mistake and get stuck with clothes you'll never wear. I got a nice rainbow dress for picture day. And just for the fun of it, I got a pair of pink sunglasses and a bathing suit with butterflies on it to wear at the beach. I picked out all my outfits for the first 2 weeks of school, I told Arlo. I don't like waiting until the last minute. Then why don't you start planning your funeral now? He said. Very funny. Oh, look, Carlo. They even have little fuzzy purses that look like kittens. Isn't that adorable? I wondered if my mom would let me buy one. I turned around. Arlo wasn't there. Arlo? I walked around the rack of Hello Kitty shirts. He wasn't there either. Arlo! I shouted. He wasn't anywhere. Arlo is gone. What? Both of our moms yelled. 1 minute he was right next to me, I explained, and the next minute he disappeared. Maybe he went to the bathroom, said my mom. Arlo's mom started screaming and crying and freaking out. My son is missing, she shouted. AJ, where are you? Somebody lock the doors. My son is gone. An alarm sounded and security guards came running over. Everybody was searching all over the store for Arlo. Finally, about 5 minutes later, we found him. He was hiding inside a big round rack of fake fur vests. AJ, what are you doing in there? His mom shouted. I thought you had been kidnapped. I was pretending this was an army fort, and I was hiding out from the enemy, he said. What's the big deal? Arlo's mom put her hands on her hips, so I knew she was really mad, but I think she was holding it in because she didn't want to yell at Arlo in front of everybody. Andrea and I are just about done here, my mom said. I'll go pay for these things. Then we need to have lunch and go shopping for back-to-school supplies. Yay! I shouted. I love shopping for back-to-school supplies. Boo! Arlo shouted. I hate shopping for back-to-school supplies. The 6th reason why I love school. We get delicious, nutritious cafeteria food. Our lunch lady, Ms. LaGrange, always prepares lots of healthy options, so we'll grow up to be big and strong. Arlo and his friends are always stuffing themselves with junk food and sugary drinks, but not me. Maybe I'll become a vegetarian when I grow up.